Hi everybody. Today we're making conillo, rabbit, cacciatore, rabbit hunter stew. It's not my most favorite thing in the world, but it's my mom and dad's. They're stuck at home. They haven't been able to do much. They're, like I told you before, my dad's 97, my mom's turning 88 soon. So we like to do some fun things and sort of get them reminiscing of what Italy was all about back home. So we're gonna do a rabbit stew and polenta for them and for Ross, because he loves rabbit too. Anyway, we're gonna go over here and start cooking. So the first thing we're going to do is, I've had the rabbit. You can go to your butcher and ask for rabbit, and the butcher will cut it up for you, which is what we've done. And I have marinated this all night long. So in here I had a marinade of garlic and parsley and sage and wine and salt and pepper and some olive oil. So that was basically in the fridge all night long. I did take them out and I did dry them up a little bit so they wouldn't be too wet. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put a couple of tablespoons of oil into the pan. We're going to put up the heat a little bit. We're going to dredge the rabbit in flour. Not too much, shake off the excess, and we're going to put it into the pot. Still not quite hot enough. Let's wait a second. But anyway, my dad, when I was a little girl, he would always buy rabbits. We'd always have 3 rabbits in a cage in the backyard, but he was so cute. When it was time to butcher them, he couldn't do it. He would give them away. He could not do it. My dad is so sweet. But he loves rabbits too. And I have to say, I used to eat rabbit all the time, but one time in Italy, I saw my aunt go by the kitchen door with a rabbit with her ears like this, and I asked what we were having for dinner that night, and she said it was chicken. Never could eat rabbit after that. So it's just a phobia I've got, but it's really good. So do this in batches, so that you're not crowding the rabbit, so that it's frying, it's not getting too much moisture in there. So it'll take about 3 minutes on each side. So I've browned all these pieces. What you want is to give it a really nice brown crust, just to keep all the flavors in, like we've done for so many other things. And now we're just going to set it aside, and we'll do the rest of our recipe. I'll be back in a bit. Because this is rabbit, it's not like your other meats. You should clean out your pot and start with a fresh, clean pot. So here we have it. I'm going to put in a little bit more olive oil. And here I have 1 whole onion, a big one, and we're going to saute it down. Going to put in a bit of salt and pepper, not too much, as the marinade had a lot of flavoring in there, so I think we're good for that. I have to give kudos to Ross, because it was his idea to do the rabbit for Mom and Dad. He's always thinking of a way to make them happy. They are kind of sad at home, but I'm really glad they're at home and not in a home somewhere. So hopefully they'll love this. I'm sure they will, with their polenta. In fact, I told my mom I was making that. She goes, oh, I'm so excited. So now I'm going to throw in, this is 6 garlic cloves that I've crushed. We'll put those in. Give that a little cook until you can smell the garlic. And in here I have 3 tablespoons of chopped fresh rosemary and sage. I'm going to put that in. And to this we're going to add half a cup of white wine. We'll let that just cook down a little bit. Smells really good. So now I have 1 cup of chicken stock. And this is a 18-ounce jar of fresh tomatoes that I've crushed the tomatoes, and we're going to throw that all in. I'm going to wait till it all comes to a boil, and then we're going to put our rabbit back in, and then we're going to put it into a 375-degree oven for 1 hour, and that's it. That's how easy it is. And you know, if you wanted, if you're, you know, like I said, rabbit is not my most favorite thing in the world, but use a chicken. Use chicken and make chicken cacciatore. It's so good and so easy to make. And Ross loves this, so this is why I'm making it for my mom and dad and for Ross. By the way, do you love my new pot I got for Christmas? It's my most favorite piece to cook with right now. Thanks, Santa Ross. Okay, let's put these rabbit back in. And unlike chicken, you have to be careful you don't overcook the rabbit because it could get tough. So you want it to be falling off the bone, delicious, but not so much that it turns to rubber. That's what I read, that you have to be, it is a bit delicate. Oops. I think this is just going to fit all these guys in here. Okay, so we're ready to go. I'm going to cover it. If you don't have a cover, seal it with some tin foil and make it tight fit. And we're going to put it in the oven now for 1 hour at 375. Okay, here we go. Into the oven, 1 hour. See you in a bit. Okay, so the rabbit stew's in the oven. It's almost ready. So to go with that, I'm going to make some polenta. Very traditional, gotta do it. So here I have 4 cups of water that's come up to a boil. And I'm just gonna throw in a tiny bit of salt. And now, I've showed you this before, but I'm gonna show you again. This is how you do, this is 1 cup of polenta, cornmeal. So you got 4 cups of water, 1 cup. So you want to do it slowly and just stir as you put it in so you don't have lumps. Just put a little bit at a time. And I have to tell you, the worst burn in the world is polenta burn. You'll see in a bit, it's going to start to bubble, and those bubbles, when they hit your skin, ow, so be careful. So we're going to do this, and we're going to stir for a bit more. I'm going to throw the rest in there. See how it's bubbling up? Be careful. So now we're going to cook this down for about, you can put it down a little bit. Ouch. Like I said, ouch. For about 20 minutes. So now I know there's no lumps in there. I'm going to get my wooden spoon and we're going to stir. So now we're going to cook this down for about 20 minutes. And the good way to know if it's cooked, believe it or not, you'll start to smell. On the bottom, it'll create a little bit of a crust, and you'll smell that smell of loveliness. So, you know, the Italians, back in the day, like where my dad grew up, he actually had a mill to process the corn. And people came from all over the valley to process their corn. And back before war days, during the war, that was basically all they had. They would have polenta all the time, and that was their staple. Like in Ireland, they had their potatoes. We had polenta, cornmeal. So here we go. So, and every region of Italy has a different method for their polenta. The farther south you go, the more creamier it is. In the north, it's firmer. It's like a piece of bread when you cut it. So that's how, the consistency we're going to go to today. So the polenta is pretty much done. So you can see down here, there's this crust. I could leave it for another couple of minutes, but it's ready to go. But in my mom's pot, it would start coming off the edges, but it's good. This is good. So we're going to take it off. Now this is the fun part about polenta. This is the traditional way. I just want to take off the excess from my spoon. So what you're going to do now is I just got this breadboard. It's brand new, but my mom's got one that's probably, actually my dad made it for her, and it's probably 60 years old. Anyway, we found this beautiful board, so this is going to be my polenta board now. Is you're going to take the pot upside down. Bam! That's all you have to do. And on my mom's polenta board, she always had thread that she used every time she made polenta, and I have done the same thing. And to cut the polenta, you get your thread, and you basically, look at that, how it just falls apart. That's how you cut polenta. You can't use a knife. It's too fragile. So that's what you do. And then you go this way. And there you go. That's how you cut your polenta. And then you take your thread and you put it back on the board. This brings back memories like you wouldn't believe of my mom and her bread and her board for polenta. So there's the polenta. I am now going to go get the rabbit stew because it's ready. And here comes the rabbit. Oh my goodness. You ready? Oh my gosh. It looks beautiful, it smells beautiful. Plate up a portion. So you get a bit of your polenta. Oops. Put it onto your plate. Get a piece of the rabbit that looks absolutely beautiful. Some sauce. And there you go. It's beautiful. Buon appetito, everybody. I hope you enjoy. And remember, if you don't want to use rabbit, use chicken. Chicken cacciatore is good as rabbit cacciatore. So here we go. I think my mom and dad will love this, and Ross. So buon appetito. Until the next time. Love you all. Be safe.